watched a movie that I was very surprised that I even would enjoy. I've seen a lot online about this, and it seems to be straight down the middle on if you like it or not. Then again, given some of the groups I follow, they're very bitchy about what the fuck they watch. And they like to be trolls. A lot of the horror community seems to be trolls nowadays. So there's something to take into account when you're watching a horror movie. For example, Terrifier 3, split down the middle. There's a bunch of fucking trolls on this one Facebook group that bitch about it, and then the other half of that same Facebook group are very into it. Like I was, I liked it. I thought it was really good. And I'm not talking about Terrifier 3. I'm actually talking about a movie I just saw called Strange Darling. And this movie was an experience. Let me give you a bit of the story without really spoiling anything first. I'll get into spoilers here in a bit. But the marketing did this movie great because I saw one trailer for this, like during Alien Romulus, I think, or something. And I was really expecting a completely different movie based on the marketing of Strange Darling. The marketing plot goes Kyle Gallner's character is a serial killer and he's fucking chasing this girl and trying to kill her, and he's this prolific serial killer outs to just he's brutal. He's been like a brutal serial killer from I think the beginning says like 2018 to 2022, something like that. So the whole story is about this girl running from this guy pretty much in marketing, okay? First of all, what I want to talk about is the structure of it. I've rarely seen this. You kind of get this in like, it kind of has like a Tarantino esque type of vibe because the chapters are all, it tells you it's a 6 chapter film, okay? But what it does and what I like about it is the chapters aren't even in order. We start with chapter 3, and then I think we go from chapter 3 to chapter 5 to chapter 1 to chapter 4 to chapter 2 to chapter 6. I'm pretty sure that's the order of it. Yeah, that was already interesting. And the way they start it, they kind of do like this 2003 Texas Chainsaw remake vibe where they like give you like scrolling text about this prolific serial killer, and this is a dramatization of the events. That was cool. So that stuff had me hooked. Okay, that was really good. And pretty much what we have here is this guy chasing this girl for the first half, and then we go back and forth to see their relationship. It seems like it was like a hookup situation with this guy and this girl at like maybe a bar or something. Then they're in the car talking about like doing like kinky shit and stuff like that, and then from there on, they kind of have some like social issues about women being very nervous about like just dating and hooking up and having like casual sex with men because of how dangerous it is for women in these instances. And that those are all great, and I love like when horror films take social issues and like discuss them heavily, especially like Barbarian does a really good job at that too. This one does it and then fucking flips it like that. Okay, so just a reminder, there are spoilers in what I'm going to be talking about. So let's start with what I like about this. So this is definitely like, I wouldn't call it a slasher, but it's definitely a sort of thriller. It's definitely it has horror elements to it, but I don't really know what to compare this to. If you guys know, like, leave a comment below because I'd like to hear your opinions on this. This is my take on it after seeing it for the first time. I want to get my wife to watch it and see what she thinks because I feel like she would have a good time with this, with where the plot ends up going. But some of the things I like about this are the opening. Like I said, like those first openings are amazing. Okay, like the way just the way they structure it, and like I do like the slow mo effect of what they're doing here. It's got a really good vibe to it. I'm not gonna lie. But that also comes back to bite it in the ass later, like very shortly later, like very like soon after. I'm like, all right, this is dragging a little too long. That's one of my dislikes of the movie. It starts slow and it seems to not pick up the pace, but I think it has a better payoff. That was one of the dislikes I originally wrote down that I was like going to discuss. Was like, it has a very slow beginning, but it's all character development, so that's important for a story. So I think in the end, after I finished the movie, I don't think that was much of a dislike for me after the fact. But I went in blind to this movie, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I went based on the one trailer I saw in theaters, and I was like, hey, I like the actors, and the story could be generic, but the actors are there, so that's what I'm in it for. And this did just a really good job with just me going in blind. I've gone into a movie blind twice this year, and I'm so glad I went into the movie Cuckoo blind, because if I would have like seen any trailer for it, I would have been pretty fucking pissed because that trailer gives a lot away. Strange Darling does a really good job with this marketing. So even though I did see a trailer for it, trailer didn't spoil anything for me. So I was very happy for that. I also like the aesthetic of them shooting this in 35 millimeter film. Everything's digital. I'm shooting this on digital right now, but I don't know. There's a certain style and aesthetic to seeing a movie shot in 35 millimeter that I don't know. It's just like it's the way the lighting and the color palettes are. It gives it a certain vibe that you can't get with digital. And I'm not like a pompous filmmaker or anything, but I do really enjoy seeing a movie shot on film as opposed to digital. Would I ever do that if I had a budget? Maybe. Like if I had a really good budget and was able to be like, I would like this to be on film. Yeah, I'd shoot it on film. I don't really know how to shoot on film. Like by the time I was in film school, everything was done digitally and on cards and stuff like that. But I would really love to have a crew that knew how to shoot on film. Because I have a few ideas, a few scripts actually written that I'm like, this would be a lot better if it was shot on film as opposed to digital. So yeah, there's the aesthetic of it being shot on film that I also really liked, and it drew me into the story a lot more because of how it looked and how it vibed with what its story was telling. Something else I really liked about this movie was there's this like before we know where the story's going, like there's this whole like side of like kinky sex and the dangers of it and like how intense it could be. Like it got really intense in I think it was chapter maybe two, I think. Yeah, it was chapter two. That chapter was called Mr. Snuffleupagus because it's like the safe word. Um, so the safe word for this kinky sex thing that the girl wanted the guy to do, which I was like, that's interesting, and that's what I like too. Spoilers now. The characters get more and more delved into, and it's like, so who's really the bad guy here? Like, it seems to be going in a different direction than you think, and it really fucking does by the halfway point during the mountain people segment. Um, yeah, when we hit the mountain people segment, which is like one of my favorite parts of the movie, because you got like Ed Begley Jr. and I can't remember the other woman's name, his wife. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, that was just another part I liked was like how like every 10-15 minutes this story in this movie takes a different turn. Like it's always like making you like, wait, what is this? What is this? What's going on? What's going on? Cuckoo did the same thing, which is why I liked Cuckoo so much. Now I have to get into my dislikes, okay? And there's a couple. I was making a list as I was going, what I liked and what I didn't like, and then I have like a best moments segment type of thing that I want to get into. But let's go into my dislikes before I get into final thoughts and real big spoilers here. As I said, this is a little slow, and something I originally wrote down though was that it starts spoiling shit for you in its chapters because it's out of structure, but it doesn't. So I wrote that down before I finished the movie, and I was like, okay, there was no fucking spoilers at that point. So that was good. That it didn't really spoil anything by having its chapters out of sequence, which is part of a thing that I actually liked about it. Something I didn't like was the fact that it felt like a very pretentious film at points. It seemed too full of itself, and I think it would have been a lot better if it didn't fucking do that. Obviously, like we didn't need all the slow mo shots. This movie's not that long, so but it felt longer because of these slower shots, and I'm all for taking your time, which is another negative I have. Ironically, the fact that this movie seems like its chapters are the first half of the chapters that we get the chapters like they seem to only be like maybe 8 minutes long at best, and I feel like there could have been more substance at that point. So it has that double-edged sword of it feeling too long because of the way it's shot, but then the chapters themselves, at least the first three chapters, seemed very condensed and short and rushed. That was a negative I had with it. But in the end, by the end of it, it doesn't hurt it that much. I can't get to this last dislike without kind of discussing where this goes. So the marketing makes it seem like the guy is the serial killer after the girl, but right at the halfway point almost, we find out that this girl is fucking psycho, okay? She is crazy, and then we get to the latter 3 chapters, and we discover that it's the girl who's the serial killer and not the guy that we assumed was a serial killer from the marketing of this movie with the trailer and everything. That was a really nice twist, okay? So we go into this thinking this guy's fucking chasing her, hunting her down, and then her kinky shit is like, you don't see it as a guy. As a guy audience member, as a male audience member, I didn't recognize this. I don't see those types of red flags, and that's just like kind of it's a male thing. So this did a good job of pointing out like, hey, guys can be, or hey, the girls can be the fucking victims too, type of thing. And or hey, the girls can be the victims. It's like, hey, the girls can be just as bad as the guys. So I like that they played with that, even though she was the one talking about like, do you know how dangerous it is for a woman to have casual sex with a guy? You don't understand the dangers, which is why she asks him if he's a serial killer, which makes us think, yes, he is a serial killer, because we've already seen these other chapters with him chasing her. But the reason he's chasing her is where I really get into it, because now it becomes a really good cat-mouse game. Like, she plays with him in the beginning. Story, chronologically, it's her fucking with him. And her making him do this kinky shit to her, because he's like just kind of this, he's a cop, okay? We find this out halfway through, too. This guy's a cop, and he's just trying to hook up with this girl, and it turns into this role play that she wants him to do, this very kinky thing where she wants to be handcuffed and choked and slapped and all this shit, and she's really into it. He's nervous at first, and I'm watching this and I'm like, how does this guy go from being this guy to this killer who's chasing her? And then we find out that he is a fucking cop, okay? She finds out he's a cop after she's carved letters into his chest, because I guess this serial killer that we're being like, oh, this is the most prolific serial killer, which is her. She goes by the nickname the Electric Lady, and that's what she does. I guess she's like just a killer, and she'll always carve an EL into people. And she was about to finish him off after carving her initials into his chest, and then he fucking pulls a gun out and shoots her in the head, but it hits her in the ear and hits a piece of her ear off, and then that's why we see her running at the beginning with her head all bloody and shit. And man, like they did a really good job. Some of my favorite parts of this were the relationship between them and watching that grow and then just turn into fucking something else. I really like the mountain people too. The mountain people segment, I like, dude, the food they make, I was like, dude, that looks like a really good breakfast. It's just this hippie couple living in the mountains, and they just happen to be in not even the wrong place at the wrong time. They're in their own place. Just this bitch shows up and does her fucking thing, and fucking brutally kills the husband, and then lets the wife run away, and then later she dies because of the whole ending with he finally catches up with her by the end, and he handcuffs her, and he's talking to her, and then he just gets too fucking close. And this is one of my dislikes, one of my last dislikes of the movie. I didn't like that Kyle Gallagher's character gets fucking bit on the neck because he gets too cocky. She has bear spray that the mountain people had. They don't have guns, but they have bear spray, and they were gonna use it on her. She's like, this is a crazy bitch knocking at our door. They were cautious, but then they let their guard down when they thought she was innocent, and find out she's the fucking crazy bitch that we've been thinking was this guy the whole time. So yeah, long story short, I like the twists that they give with this, and what we expected based on trailers and what we expected based on the story structure. So if this was done in chronological order, it wouldn't have been as good. So the fact that they did this out of sequence, like a Tarantino-esque type of storyline, really helped it. I thought this was a good movie. Beat expectations. I thought I was going to go into this and be like, dumb. But it wasn't. Or I thought it was going to be a story that I've seen before. And there are elements that, we've seen before. Like High Tension kind of does the same thing. But this one, it's fresh. And it has more relatability to characters. It takes a lot for... It just does a lot. It has a lot going for it, this one. That's why I can see people really liking this movie. I've seen people talk about this. Still has a line down the middle because you got, just horror guys that just like, I just need blood and tits, and that's really all you need in a horror movie. But like sometimes it's nice to. I'm joking, obviously, but no, I'm not. I'm not joking. Blood and tits is all you need. Okay, but in a movie with story, the story serves this really well, and I'm not gonna say I'm gonna own this as a physical copy or anything, but I'm definitely going to have my wife watch this as soon as it's available streaming somewhere else. So that's all I have, guys. Leave comments below. Let me know what you thought of this, and also let me know what movies you want to see me review in the future. Because like I have my own list of movies I'm going to review. I'm basically going to review every movie in my collection that I own and anything I see in theaters. I'm also going to review. But I just want to know what you guys want me to review. If it's something I don't already have on my list, if it's something I already have on my list, maybe I'll bump that up and do it higher if it's something you guys want to see me review. So yeah, let me know, and I look forward to sharing these opinions with you guys. I look forward to hearing your opinions on these movies that I'm reviewing, and I look forward to feedback and what I should do in the future. I think that's really important for an audience to be involved. I think we need that interaction. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Last thing I want to say is starting a podcast with my Marine buddy. She's in Canada, but we're on the same time zone because of where she is. And yeah, we're going to be getting that together here and doing like a horror podcast together, talking about movies. So we have our own lists for that. So if you guys give me a list of something there that's already on the list that we're going to do with our first 20 episodes that we have planned out, I'll let you guys know, and I'll keep you guys in the loop on that. We still have to get it organized, but I think we plan on starting like the filming process and like the recording process here in the next, I think, like week. I think next Friday we're going to start trying to. So I'll let you guys know that, and I'm going to try and have more for you guys over the coming weeks. I'm going to be shooting a few more of these today, so you're going to see the same background, same outfit. Not dirty. I'm just shooting this all in one day. Yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll see you at the next review I'm going to be doing.